9. Reasons people secretly hate you, a Stoic's guide. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy just shift, or caught a cold look from someone for no reason you can figure out? We all move through a world where this unseen negativity can hold us back, creating invisible walls between us and our peace of mind. But what if the reasons for this secret resentment weren't some big mystery? A Stoic would tell you they're just patterns, echoes of human nature that have repeated for centuries. In this guide, we'll uncover the 9 hidden reasons people might secretly dislike you, and more importantly, learn the ancient tools to rise above it all and reclaim your inner peace. Let's be honest, the feeling of being disliked is a unique kind of pain. It's a slow poison to your confidence, making you second-guess everything you say and do. You replay conversations in your head, searching for the one thing you did wrong. But so often, their reasons have very little to do with you, and everything to do with what's going on inside their own head. This is where having a Stoic mindset becomes a superpower. The great Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, were masters of human psychology. They knew the world was filled with envy, insecurity, and judgment, but they didn't let it break them. Instead, they built a philosophy of resilience, a kind of mental armor designed to protect your inner calm from the emotional chaos of others. Their teachings aren't about becoming cold or unfeeling. They're about understanding where negativity really comes from and choosing not to play its game. It's about realizing you can't control how other people see you, but you have absolute power over how you respond. Today, we'll walk through the 9 most common reasons for this hidden animosity, and for each one, we'll turn to the Stoics for a clear strategy to not only endure it, but to thrive. Reason number 1. Your success is a mirror. The first and maybe the most common reason for secret resentment is simple envy. When you succeed in your career, your relationships, your personal growth, your success can feel like a painful mirror to someone who feels stuck in their own life. They don't hate you for what you've achieved. They resent you because your success reminds them of what they haven't. Imagine you get a promotion at work. You've worked your tail off for it, but a colleague who's been in the same role for years suddenly grows distant. Their compliments feel empty, or they start making little digs disguised as jokes. This isn't really personal, it's the sting of their own unfulfilled potential. Your light is casting a shadow on their inaction, and instead of taking a step forward themselves, it feels easier to resent the light. The Stoics saw envy as a self-inflicted wound. Seneca wrote that the envious person drinks poison and hopes the other person dies. The Stoic approach isn't to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. It's not your job to dim your own light. Instead, the goal is to understand what's happening and remain indifferent to it. So, the guidance is simple. First, see envy for what it is, a sign of someone else's inner turmoil, not a final judgment on you. Their feelings are outside of your control. Trying to manage their envy is like trying to stop the ocean's tides. Second, practice gratitude for what you have. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to appreciate the things he had as if he was still wishing for them. By focusing on your own gratitude, you anchor yourself in reality and shield your peace from the stormy emotions of others. Keep walking your path, act with integrity, and let your success be its own quiet statement. You're not responsible for the reflection others see in the mirror of your life. Reason number 2. You threaten the status quo. We are creatures of habit. We find comfort in shared rules, beliefs, and routines. When you choose to live authentically, to follow a path that's different from your social circle, you can accidentally become a threat to their comfort. Think of a family where certain political or religious beliefs are treated as absolute truth. If you, after your own reflection, arrive at a different conclusion, you're not just disagreeing with them, you're challenging a piece of their identity. The fact that you can exist as a happy, moral person with different beliefs creates a deep, unspoken discomfort, and that discomfort often sours into resentment. They might not attack your beliefs directly, but they'll criticize your lifestyle, your job, or your friends, anything that stands in for the real issue. You dared to step outside the circle. This applies to friends too. If your group of friends spends every weekend partying, and you decide to focus on your health or start a side project, your new direction can feel like a judgment on theirs. Your discipline highlights their lack of it. They might secretly resent you because your new path proves another way of life is possible, a way they might be too scared or unwilling to try. The Stoic response here is rooted in courage. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became a legendary teacher, said that if you truly want to improve, you have to be okay with being seen as strange or foolish by others. To live an authentic life means accepting that not everyone is going to get it or approve of it. Your only duty is to your own mind and your own values, not to the comfort of the crowd. The practical advice: be firm but compassionate. You don't need to defend your choices or try to convert anyone. Just live your values quietly and consistently. Let your character be your only argument. By refusing to get pulled into arguments and by living with integrity, you protect your inner peace, whether you fit in their boxes or not. Reason number 3. They misunderstand your intentions. So much conflict comes from simple misunderstanding, a rushed text message, a facial expression taken the wrong way, a quiet personality being mistaken for arrogance. These little communication breakdowns can build huge walls of resentment. You might be acting with the best intentions, but if someone sees you through a filter of their own insecurity, your intentions don't matter. Imagine you offer a colleague some constructive feedback, genuinely wanting to help, but if that colleague is deeply insecure, they don't hear your offer to help. They just hear criticism, an attack. From that moment on, they might see everything you do through that same negative lens. Your quiet focus is now plotting, your efficiency is showing off. A small seed of misunderstanding has grown into a garden of secret resentment. The Stoics knew that what people perceive is often mistaken for the absolute truth. As Marcus Aurelius put it, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. The Stoic strategy is to get ahead of it. Try to communicate with clarity and kindness. If you sense a misunderstanding, address it calmly and directly, without pointing fingers. Ask questions to understand where they're coming from. Epictetus advised taking a pause before you react, giving yourself a moment to respond with reason instead of raw emotion. But the Stoics were also realists. They knew you can't achieve perfect understanding with everyone. Some people are determined to misunderstand you because it fits their story. In those cases, once you've done your best to be clear and fair, you have to let it go. You've done your part. Their insistence on misinterpreting you is a weight they are choosing to carry, not one you have to pick up. Your peace comes from knowing you acted with good character, not from the impossible task of managing everyone's perceptions. We're digging into the deep currents of human nature through a Stoic lens. If you're finding this guide valuable for your own life and want to keep building your mental resilience, consider subscribing. We're all about mastering our inner world together. Reason number 4. They are projecting onto you. Projection is a tricky defense mechanism where people take their own unwanted thoughts and feelings and pin them on someone else. In short, The people who secretly hate you might just be seeing a reflection of their own shadow. They resent the qualities in you that they can't accept in themselves. Imagine someone who is deeply ambitious but was taught that ambition is greedy. They suppress that drive and pretend to be modest. Then they meet you, someone who is openly and unapologetically ambitious. It triggers them. They can't consciously admit their own ambition, so they project it onto you and attack it. They'll call you a ruthless social climber or selfish. They're not really fighting with you. They're fighting a battle with a disowned part of themselves. In the same way, a person who is secretly dishonest might be the first to accuse everyone else of lying. Someone wrestling with their own inadequacy might see arrogance everywhere they look. The world becomes a movie screen for their own inner demons, and you just happen to be standing in the path of the projector. A Stoic would look at this and see a confession. When someone lashes out with irrational anger, the first question isn't, "What did I do wrong?" but, "What pain is causing this person to act this way?" This simple shift changes everything. It's no longer a personal attack. It's an observation of the human condition. The practice here is a mix of empathy and detachment. Empathy isn't about excusing their behavior, but understanding its source, their own inner conflict. Detachment is about refusing to accept their projection. You are not who they say you are. Their labels have no power over you unless you let them. Epictetus taught that if someone insults you, it's your judgment of the insult that hurts you, not the words themselves. If someone calls you arrogant, but you know you're not, then their words are just noise. Your job is to stay grounded in your own self-awareness and have a little compassion for the person who is so at war with themselves that they see enemies everywhere. Reason number 5. They're caught up in gossip. Gossip is a social poison. It kills reputations and creates entire realities out of thin air. A person might have no real experience with you, but if they're in a social circle where rumors about you are passed around, they can develop a strong dislike for a version of you that doesn't even exist. Their hatred isn't for you, it's for the caricature of you painted by others. Think about how easily this happens. One person, maybe driven by envy or projection, shares a negative story about you. The story is juicy, so it gets repeated. Each time, it gets a little more twisted. Soon enough, people who have barely met you are looking at you with suspicion. They've been conditioned to dislike a ghost. The Stoics were clear-eyed about how destructive gossip was. Seneca warned that trying to dig up every nasty thing said about you is a guaranteed way to destroy your own peace. So how do you fight it? The Stoic answer is, you don't. Instead, you focus on building a character that makes the gossip look ridiculous. Live in such a way that the rumors just don't stick. Your reputation is external. It's ultimately out of your control. Your character, however, is entirely yours. The practical step is to refuse to play the game. Don't engage in gossip yourself, because that just keeps the cycle going. And when you find out you're the subject of it, resist the urge to run around correcting every lie. That just gives the rumors more oxygen. Instead, focus on your own actions. Keep treating people with fairness and kindness, even the ones you know have spoken badly of you. Your consistent, virtuous behavior is the most powerful rebuttal to any rumor. It might take time, but the truth has a weight that lies just can't carry forever. Reason number 6. You remind them of a past wound. Sometimes, the animosity you feel from someone has absolutely nothing to do with you. You might just be an accidental trigger for an old, unhealed wound. Maybe your appearance, the way you talk, or even your job title reminds them of someone who hurt them years ago. Their reaction isn't about the present moment. It's an emotional echo from the past. Imagine a manager who had a terrible relationship with a domineering father. If you, their employee, have a direct and confident communication style that's similar, the manager might react with irrational hostility. They aren't responding to you, the competent employee in front of them. They're reliving an old power struggle. You've accidentally been cast as a ghost in their private drama. They are unconsciously transferring old feelings onto a new person. The resentment they feel is real, but its target is wrong. They secretly hate you because you've unintentionally reopened a scar. A Stoic would approach this with deep compassion while holding firm to the dichotomy of control. You cannot control someone else's past trauma or their unconscious triggers. Their emotional baggage is theirs alone to carry. Trying to fix it for them isn't your job. The path here is one of patient understanding and clear boundaries. Continue to act with professionalism and virtue. Don't take their strange behavior personally. See it as a sign of their own pain, pain you likely know nothing about. But if their behavior becomes toxic and starts to disrupt your peace, the Stoic response is to set firm boundaries. This isn't an attack, it's self-preservation. You can calmly say, "I won't be spoken to that way." You're not trying to change them, you're just controlling your own space and protecting your own tranquility. You can feel for their pain without letting it become your own. Reason number 7. Your presence creates unwanted competition. In so many places, the office, friend groups, even families, there's a perceived shortage of things like attention, status, or praise. When you show up and you're good at what you do, your very presence can feel like a new threat. People who were comfortable in their spot on the social ladder now fear being overshadowed or replaced. Their resentment comes from a fear that your gain is their loss. Consider a team where one person has always been the creative genius. They're used to getting all the credit for new ideas. Then you join the team, and you also happen to be highly creative. Suddenly, the spotlight has to be shared. Even if you're supportive and collaborative, they may start to see you as a rival. They might hoard information or subtly try to undermine your work. They don't hate you as a person. They hate that your competence makes their own feel less special and less secure. This all comes from the mindset that life is a zero-sum game, the belief that for you to win, they have to lose. The Stoics completely rejected this idea. They believed that true worth comes from virtue, which is an infinite resource. My courage doesn't take away from your courage. Your wisdom doesn't diminish mine. The Stoic strategy is to simply opt out of the competition. While others are playing a competitive game, you play a collaborative one. Act with unimpeachable integrity. Give credit freely, even to your rivals. Share what you know. By refusing to engage in the petty drama of rivalry, you rise above it. This doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. Defend your work when you need to, but do it with calm reason, not competitive anger. Your goal isn't to beat them. Your goal is to be so solid in your own virtue that their rivalry has nothing to grab onto. You're running your own race. Let them run theirs. Your peace of mind is the real prize, and it's one only you can award yourself. Reason number 8. You don't fulfill their unspoken expressions. Resentment is often the bitter result of unmet expressions, and the most toxic expressions are the ones that are never even said out loud. People walk around with a complex, invisible rulebook in their heads for how everyone else is supposed to behave. When you break one of these secret rules, they feel wronged, and that feeling hardens into resentment. For example, a friend might have an unspoken rule that you should always be available to listen to them vent. One day, you're totally overwhelmed with your own life, and you can't offer them that support. You haven't actually done anything wrong, but in their mind, you've failed a critical test of friendship. They won't tell you this, of course. They'll just go cold, leaving you confused. Their resentment comes from a demand they never had the courage to voice. This happens all the time. A partner expects you to read their mind. A boss expects you to stay late without being asked. When you fail to be a mind reader, you're judged, all without a single word being exchanged. You're being graded against a test you never knew you were taking. The Stoics teach us to be suspicious of our own expressions, let alone the secret ones of others. They knew that tying our happiness to other people's behavior is a recipe for disaster. Our calm has to come from our own actions, not from others doing what we want. The guidance here is to practice acceptance and clear communication. First, accept that you will never satisfy the secret rulebooks of everyone around you. It's impossible, so free yourself from that burden. Second, in your own relationships, work to make the unspoken spoken. Encourage honest conversations about needs and boundaries. But for those who refuse to communicate and prefer to judge you from a distance, you must apply the Stoic principle of indifference. Their disappointment is a problem they created for themselves, and you can't solve it for them. Your job is to live with integrity, not to be a psychic. Reason number 9, your growth exposes their stagnation. This last reason is maybe the most profound. Sometimes people will secretly hate you simply because you are growing. Every step you take on your journey of self-improvement, every book you read, every new habit you build, is a quiet reminder that change is possible. And for someone who has given up on their own potential, your growth doesn't feel like an inspiration, it feels like a personal insult. This is the friend who scoffs when you quit smoking, the family member who makes jokes about your meditation practice, the partner who feels threatened when you start therapy and begin to heal. Your transformation highlights the fact that they could also change if they really chose to. But choosing to change is hard. It takes courage, and it means facing your own flaws. It's so much easier to stay where it's comfortable and resent the person who is leaving that comfort behind. Your growth forces them to face their own excuses. Your discipline makes their lack of it feel more obvious. Your journey reminds them that they are standing still. They don't hate you. They hate the choice you represent, the choice they are too afraid to make for themselves. This is the ultimate test for a Stoic. The very thing you're striving for personal growth can become a source of social friction. The Stoics would say this is not only expected, but a good sign. To be liked by everyone often means you're compromising your principles. The Stoic path is crystal clear. You must never, ever stop growing to make someone else feel comfortable. That would be the ultimate betrayal of yourself. Your commitment to your own improvement is the very essence of what you can control. The feelings of others about that growth are completely external. Embrace your path with courage. Understand that as you climb higher, some people will want to pull you back down with them. Have compassion for their fear, but do not let it become your anchor. Your duty is to become the best version of yourself you can possibly be. For those who are ready, your example will eventually become a light. And for those who are not, their resentment is a price you must be willing to pay for your own evolution. Conclusion. So when you boil it all down, what's the one powerful truth here? The secret resentment of others is almost never about you. It's a reflection of their own envy, their own insecurities, their own past wounds, and their own fears. It's a story they're telling themselves, and you've just been cast in a supporting role. The Stoic mission isn't to run around trying to change their minds or win their approval. That is a battle you will never win, fought on a field you don't control. The real victory is to stay so grounded in your own character, to anchor your self-worth so deeply inside yourself that their negativity can't find a place to land. It's to protect your inner peace, like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. When you feel that chill of someone's disapproval, remember the words of Epictetus. It is not things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. You can't stop the judgments, but you can choose not to accept them as your reality. You can choose to respond with understanding instead of anger. You can choose to focus only on what is in your power, your thoughts, your actions, and your integrity. This isn't apathy, this is strength. It's the freedom that comes from knowing your tranquility doesn't depend on a chaotic world, but on the ordered kingdom of your own mind. Use this knowledge as a compass to guide you forward on your path, undisturbed and at peace. If this guide resonated with you, subscribe to join our community. We're all on this journey to a more resilient mind together. More importantly, share your own experiences in the comments below. How have you dealt with this kind of hidden negativity in your life? Your story might be the one that helps someone else find their peace.